Let's be real for a second. The phrase literature review just sounds daunting, right? It conjures up images of endless nights in the library, buried under stacks of dusty journals. But what if we thought about it differently? What if it wasn't a chore, but actually the most essential first step to making a brand new discovery? Because that's exactly what it is. It's your map to the entire world of existing knowledge.
There's this amazing quote from Isaac Newton that just nails what a literature review is all about. He said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." And look, this isn't just some nice poetic phrase, it's literally the blueprint for how science and knowledge move forward.
When Newton said that, he was admitting something really powerful. His own world-changing breakthroughs were only possible because of the groundwork laid by the scientists who came before him. He couldn't just invent calculus in a vacuum. And guess what? Neither can we. So that idea leads us right into our first big concept, the shoulders of giants. This metaphor perfectly captures what a literature review is at its heart. It's all about looking back so you can see that much further ahead. So here's the bottom line. Your literature review is you pointing to the scholars and the studies that came before and saying, right here, this is my starting point. This is the work that makes my own research possible. You're basically drawing a map of the history that leads right to your new idea. And you see this play out everywhere in history. I mean, think about something as massive as nuclear energy. That didn't just happen overnight. It was a chain reaction of discoveries that stretched over centuries. It started with an idea about atoms in ancient Greece, then thousands of years later, evidence for them, then the discovery of the neutron, then fission. Each step was a giant's shoulder for the next person to climb on. That is how knowledge gets built.
Okay, so that brings us to another really helpful metaphor, the sphere of knowledge. If shoulders of giants tells us why we do this, the sphere of knowledge tells us what we're actually adding to.
So first, let's just get the official definition out of the way. The body of knowledge is basically the sum total of everything we as a scientific community collectively understand about a topic. It's all the tested ideas, the proven facts, the whole shebang. So I want you to picture all of human knowledge as this giant, ever-expanding sphere. Now, most research doesn't, suddenly double the size of the sphere. Nope. Instead, what it does is add one tiny little bump to the surface. A new study on how social media affects teenagers, that's a new bump. A small breakthrough in genetics, another bump. The sphere just keeps growing, one little discovery at a time. And this is where it all clicks into place for you. The whole purpose of your literature review is to give your reader a "you are here" map. You're showing them the existing surface of the sphere, what we already know, and then you're pointing to the exact precise spot where your research is about to add its own new bump. Okay, so we get the why, the giants and the sphere. Now let's get a little more practical and look at the two main ways a literature review can show up. So there are basically two main flavors, and they do different jobs. The first kind is a section inside a bigger research paper. Its mission is to justify your new study. The second kind is a whole paper on its own, and its goal is way broader. It summarizes an entire field and creates a roadmap for other researchers to follow. This first type, the one that's part of a paper, is kind of like drawing a direct line. You're connecting the dots from all these established theories and past studies to show, see, there's a logical gap right here, which conveniently your new research is designed to fill. You're proving your bump belongs on the sphere. Now, the second type, the standalone review, is more like being a map maker. In a field that's moving super fast, you might have dozens of new bumps popping up all over the place. This kind of review gathers all of them, organizes them, and creates a brand new map of the territory, basically telling other scientists, hey, look over here. This is where the action is. So we know the why and the what. Let's shift gears from the big ideas to the practical, nuts and bolts stuff. Here's a simple 4-step playbook for how to actually get this thing done. Step 1, choose and narrow your topic. And I mean really narrow it down. Don't try to tackle psychology. Try something like the impact of mindfulness on college student anxiety. Step 2, search the literature. Use academic search engines like Google Scholar and your university's databases. Keywords are your best friend here. Step 3 is all about selecting and evaluating. Read the abstracts, those little summaries at the beginning, and start grouping articles by theme. You're not reading every word yet, you're just looking for patterns. And finally, step 4, you can actually start writing, using that thematic map you just made as your outline. And all of this brings us to our final, and honestly, my favorite section. We started with this idea of standing on the shoulders of giants.
But the real goal, it isn't just to stand there. The goal is to contribute something so solid, so well-researched, that you end up providing a platform for the next person. A truly great literature review isn't just about paying respect to the past. It's about building a foundation for the future.
And that's the ultimate purpose, right? When you do this work well, you make a really cool transition. You stop being someone who just learns from the giants, and you actually become one yourself. Your work becomes that reliable shoulder for someone else to stand on.
So the real question isn't just about what paper you're going to write. It's about your place in this incredible, ongoing story of discovery. So whose shoulders will you stand on, and what amazing new view will you help the rest of us see?